both you and I see this exactly the same way. Don't mess around with the taxpayer dime.
That's exactly right. And Aaron Schock, I think, was an unfortunate perfect example of exactly what the average voter and taxpayer thinks of Washington. Living this aristocratic type lifestyle on the backs of taxpayers. He had a $60,000 remodeling of his office to make it look like Downton Abbey. Now look, I like Downton Abbey, I know you do too, but that shouldn't be funded by taxpayer dollars. He traveled the globe with a personal photographer so he could look better in his Instagram type photos. I mean, it's one thing after the other, and it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat, that waste is being funded by us. Yeah. And by my generation that's actually going to have to pay for this stuff through borrowed debt in the future.
Now, we had the report yesterday that was $125 billion in, quote, improper spending. This kind of falls in that line.
Exactly. And the funny part is that this category of spending was not actually even classified in the $125 billion report. That was just as they classified it, payments that shouldn't have been made or weren't made the right way. So Medicare and Medicaid type fraud. The $125 billion that came out in waste, that's only the waste that we know of. What about the waste in all the departments? Sure. What about the waste in the employees that shouldn't have jobs in these federal bureaucracies or agencies that should not even exist? And this should absolutely classify as waste. And again, it's our money that they're spending. And it's hard for a politician to say, I'm going to cut wasteful spending if they're actually enacting wasteful spending in their own life.
Are young people really fired up about this? I ask because most young people don't yet pay serious tax.
Correct. But I will say this. More and more young people are distrustful of Washington because of politicians that are acting exactly how Congressman Schock did. They're distrustful of the government at large. They think that politicians are serving their own self-interest and not the self-interest of the constituents, of the next generation, or America at large. And you see time and time again Washington act like in this behavior, and it's disappointing, and they aren't making the decisions necessary.